Hello. Hello, everyone. Alright, we're just about to get started with another solo playthrough of Winning Love by Daylight. The other night, we had a run through. I, from memory, picked Emily and June, and we came very close. To actually beating the mastermind. I rushed a little bit. I skipped over. I made some choices that were probably too early rather than safely taking the time to build myself up to how strong I probably should have been at that point. Took on the mastermind a little bit too early and then only just died. This time I'm going to pick a different combination of characters. I'm still going to do the walkthrough of how to play the game, all that kind of stuff. And then hopefully have a better result in winning the game this time. So first things first, I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of all the different components, everything that you see here. And then I'll walk through how the game is played, how the turn happens, some stuff like that. And then I'll get started. So going from left to right, first thing we've got is the masterminds at the top, which are the enemies, and then the character cards underneath. So each player will have their own character card. They'll select a character at the start. Each one of them has a unique ability. We've got Maya, who gets a special piece of equipment, her laptop, which makes drawing cards a bit better. It's not like just drawing more cards, you kind of filter a bit, so you can kind of dodge fighting monsters or you get a bit of a choice. We then have Willow, who can spend gold to heal wounds from players. We've got Sophie, who gets gold every day. We've got Molly, who can eat wounds from other players and doesn't die the first time. We've got Alana, who tutors for 2 blue cards at the start. How many cards you have added to your board is basically how strong you are in a particular category. So Alana is for blue, Emily is for red, does the same thing, gets 2 cards. And then Kiana is for green, gets 2 cards. And then we have June, who starts with a special piece of equipment, the Cursed Blade, who has an extra attack every turn. So she's one of the more combat characters. We've then got the 4 masterminds, Moloch. So each mastermind at the top you can see has a passive ability with the exception of Amnath, and then underneath it tells you when they reveal their attack cards. So above them is the attack cards. So all the masterminds share 10 cards. That's the attack deck, but then each unique mastermind has 2 signature attacks that get shuffled into that deck, so that depending on which mastermind you're fighting, they'll have a slightly different combat experience. So Moloch makes players discard cards from their board. So for example, the 2 blue cards that Alana might have got and added to your board, you would have to choose something that you had added to your board and discard it. We've then got Mekra, who heals every morning. The Skeleton King, which returns a skeleton monster every turn. And Amnath, who doesn't have a special passive ability but attacks an extra time every day. We've then got the Clock. So the main mechanic in the game is kind of scheduling, action selection sort of a thing, where each time of day there is a set of options for what you can select. It's this way. It's backwards for me. A set of options that you can select. For example, in midday you can choose between schoolwork or socializing, and each of these actions does something unique, and how you spread those actions across the different players, or if you want to specialize in something, like if I'm really good at one particular thing, I probably want to be doing that over something else, in such a way that everyone is able to be strong at different things, able to overcome the different challenges that come through the game in those different skills. And I'll get to what each of those are in just a sec. Then We've got the end of day reminder card, which you probably see me pull up a lot. We've got the different gold tokens, and we've got wounds. So there's 1 on the front and there's 3 on the back. They've got dice. So dice is 3 blanks and then 2 1s and 1 2. So a lot of the time you'll be rolling blanks. It's actually pretty difficult to actually score some damage dealt. We've got the shop and the market deck. So this has got all your upgrades. It's got clues. If you assemble all of the clues, you can summon the mastermind early. You go and track them down and start fighting them. We've got Maya's laptop that I mentioned a minute ago, and the cursed blade as well. We've then got the activity deck. So the activity deck is basically the resources in which you upgrade your skills and abilities. The activity deck is filled with either monsters that come out as you draw them, or the activity cards, which are of the 3 different colors. You can see blue, green, and red is present on the player board. And each of them is set up like a scrapbook. That's a zombie. That's awesome. Just give me a knot so I can show. Here we go. So this is, for example, a red card. It looks designed to be kind of like a Polaroid, and we have one of our characters, Emily, pulling a selfie in the picture. Alright, so let me put these back. I will shuffle. Alright, then we've got 2 different tracks. We've got the suspicion track and the stress track. So firstly, the stress track. Stress is kind of like an alternate kind of damage. Rather than directly dealing wounds to a player, you might receive stress instead, and then you have an opportunity to mitigate that, and then at the end of the day you take damage equal to the wounds indicated on the track based on how much stress that you have. If you reach 10 stress, the game ends and you lose. So the idea is to try and keep the stress track as low as you can. And then the suspicion track slowly winds up to 10, and when it hits 10, the mastermind comes down and fights you, ready or not. Alright, and then we've got the player board. So what you'll be doing is, for example, that red card I showed you before, when you're upgrading an ability, you would put the red card next to the one that you want to upgrade, and that will count towards the total number of red cards that you have, but it will also count towards how strong that ability will be. For example, maybe tilt this a bit better. For example, romance, for each card that you add beyond the first gets slightly better. So for example, no cards, you can recover 1 stress. But with 2 cards added, you can recover 2 stress at a time, and each skill upgrades like that. So the first one is schoolwork, which is a blue ability. It controls how many cards you will draw at the beginning of the day. But if you have it at max rank, once per day you can discard 3 cards to heal 1 wound. Towards the end of the game, you get to a point where you're like, oh, I've got my 10 red cards, I don't need to do any more red things. All the cards that I have aren't really that like useful or whatever. I'm just kind of putting them wherever. Instead, you can then hold a few in your hand and be like, oh, I might die. Instead, I'm going to discard and prevent this wound. Heal this wound, heal your wound. Then we've got study. Study is the next one. You reveal the top 3, 4, or 5 cards based on how many things you have in it. And then put all the clues into your hand. Then you put the rest of the cards in the bottom. I'll show you clues later on when we find some. And there's 3 clues for each mastermind. So if I get all the 3 red clues, for example, I can then use that to summon the mastermind. We've then got the green abilities. We've got training, where you add a card from your hand to your board. It's one of your upgrade abilities. And then for the number of cards you have in training, you can passively make extra attacks each day. And depending on when the monsters or the masterminds are out, you can make your attacks whenever you want, whichever you find is most convenient, as long as you do it before the monsters attack you at the end of the day. Then we've got part-time job, where you get gold for how many cards you've got in there. Then we've got romance, lowers the stress meter. Socializing, where you can trade cards with other players, including items and upgrades that you've bought. And then at the end of the day, you can roll dice to recover wounds based on your socializing skill. Alright, that's pretty much everything. Some of the stuff like combat we'll get to as we go. The first thing I need to do is select what characters. What characters I'm going to use? So last time I went Emily June, and it was pretty good. June's pretty strong. Having the extra attack always is really good because it's one more than the cap at the late game as well, and 2 to start off with is pretty strong. Usually I would say picking, and for solo mode I will be controlling 2 characters. Ordinarily you would have 1 character per player, so if you have four players you'll have 4 characters, and then you'll be trying to choose characters that'll kind of fit into however you want to do that. For solo mode I usually would just recommend having 1 really good offensive character like June or Kiana, or even Emily was pretty strong. Kiana being able to get a lot of attacks by getting green cards into there pretty quickly, and then 1 defensive character. So like Molly, for example, can eat wounds, Willow can eat wounds. Sophie can stack gold and use that to buy healing potions from the market, all the other stuff that you need from the market. So to avoid doing what I did last time, I'm going to not pick Emily or June. I'm going to go Sophie, Kiana. So I'm going to grab those character cards, scroll out a little bit. Grab those character cards, put them by the board. Let's get Kiana down there. So the first thing I need to do is go and get 2 green cards for Kiana. I'm just going to draw a bunch of cards and then put them back when I'm done. 10 is probably enough. Look at that, exactly 2 greens. So because Sophie's going to be getting gold anyway, I don't need to worry about investing in part-time job. No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted it to sit on top. Here we go. Alright. Now let's put these back. There we go. Alright. So I got my 2 green cards into training, so with 1 more green card I'll be able to make 2 attacks. Okay. So, first thing we do is it becomes morning. Morning of the first day. And Sophie gets 10 gold. Every morning Sophie gets 10 gold. Then we draw cards. So each person is going to activate schoolwork because that's the only choice in the first phase of the day. Let me draw 2 cards. Any monsters revealed will be put away because you don't need, don't have any reason to be fighting them just yet. Then we've got midday. We've got a choice of schoolwork or socializing, and I totally forgot to set up the market. Let me quickly set up the market. Normally, on the first day, you don't have any gold, and therefore you can't buy anything from the shop. So socializing is kind of pointless. And you want a bunch of cards in hand to be able to upgrade your stuff. So that's pretty solid. Okay, I'm just going to give that an extra shuffle. Okay, so we're both going to schoolwork, so I'm going to draw 1 card each. Okay, so I got a fire demon, and then I get to draw a card to replace that. Just 1 card. No, that's zombies. Draw another card to replace that. Man, I should start gambling. There we go. No, all of them. Come on. Have I mentioned that this platform is really easy to use? Alright. So we got our cards drawn. Next up is afternoon. So we got socializing, same problem as before, not really going to buy anything. Study, part-time job, romance. So probably going to part-time job for Sophie, get 10 extra gold. throw that in here. But then I think Kiana is going to study and see if I can find us a clue. So tier 1 study is 3 cards. No, come on. Alright. Let's flip them over. How do we do? Nothing. Alright, put them back. Shuffle the deck. Okay. That's the afternoon. Then we go into the evening. So we can part-time job to get more gold, training to add an extra card, romance to reduce stress, there's currently no stress, or study again. But training early on is really important because you need to get some cards into your board. So what I'm going to do is might actually boost Kiana in studying and Sophie in socializing. Actually, romance. Let's boost them in romance. Okay. And then we go to Moonlight. So the first thing that happens in the Moonlight is the market resets. And the way it does this is the first card gets discarded. Actually, it should be shuffled into the deck too. So add this to the discard pile, which sucks because that's a really good card. Alright, move this over one. Okay, that's a clue. So that means that the next market card comes along and sits on top, and if I buy that top card, I get them both. And the top card only costs 20 gold, so that's a cheap clue. Okay, next thing, monsters attack. There's no monsters to attack, so I'm pretty safe. Then we do the sleep phase. In the sleep phase, I can add one card from my hand to a board that matches that color, same as the training action. Then stress and suspicion go up by 1. And then you can roll to recover wounds with the socializing skill. And then the stress meter gives each player wounds. So first thing, add cards to the board. I'm just going to put it in the same spot. No wounds to recover. Stress and suspicion goes up by 1. No wounds to receive. Okay. Next day. Schoolwork. Let's draw some cards. 2 green cards. Good stuff. Alright, midday. Now, I could socializing. Oh, I totally forgot to give Sophie 10 gold. At least, is this a 20? Can I just flip it over? Okay, sure. Gold. So I have 30 gold. But I want to draw cards. So I'm going to socialize in the afternoon instead. Draw out 2 cards. Good stuff. Okay, afternoon. So Sophie is going to socializing. Oh, that could be really good actually. Choices. I mean, the healing salve isn't going to disappear for another 3-4 days. So I guess I can wait. And part-time job. Alright, so what I'm going to do is Kiana is going to socializing, which means that all players can buy or trade stuff. And Sophie's going to part-time job to get 10 more gold. What I'm then going to do is, I'm pretty sure, spend... yeah, I'm just going to buy pumpkin spice potion. Move these over 1. Get a new card. Lucky coin. I could get lucky coin if I wanted, but I don't think I really need it just yet. I want to save up my gold, get that healing potion. Okay. Do I need a trade? Oh, not really. Okay. Evening. Training. So we're gonna go green card for Kiana, because that's her main ability, so she can do lots of fighting. I'm gonna still go romance for Sophie. We've got a really good roll in the shop with the cards that were dealt out. Having the 2 healing potions could be really good. Okay, the stress healing potion could be really good. Then we go Moonlight. So market resets, monsters attack, sleep. So we lose 1 of the potions. It's not a big deal. There's like 5 in there. I need to make sure that I get the other one so I get that clue. Bone chimes. Alright. Monsters attack, sleep phase. Alright, so let's just go 1 green card each. Stress and suspicion goes up by 1. Okay, and the day resets. Sophie gets 10 gold. Alright, and I draw 2 cards. Good stuff. Okay, then midday. Do I want to socializing now? Am I gonna do it later? If I'm not, yeah, because I'm gonna want to romance instead. All right, I'm gonna socializing with Sophie, and then schoolwork with Kiana. So I'll draw 1 card. And then I'm gonna buy this healing salve, which gives me a clue. What? That's not what I'm trying to do. There you go. Let's put it up here for now. All right. What with future? She's really good. Okay, I'm gonna go to afternoon. Socializing, study, part-time job, romance. So I'm gonna make Sophie romance with 3 cards in it. That's 2 stress recovered, which will take us back to 0, which is really good. God, so difficult to control this damn thing. There we go. And Kiana, probably study. Let's study. It's 4 cards now. Yeah, alright. Let's study. So slow. Okay. What do we get? What do we get? We got a clue. So we got a blue one this time. So now we've got 2 different types. Good stuff. Okay, evening. So I'm just gonna training for both. Like romance is usually like double romance in a row or double part-time job in a row are both really, really good. But early on, actually, I don't really want to put blue cards in Sophie. I don't want to put a green card in Kiana. This is rough. Alright, let's just do Kiana's 5th. So training for Kiana gets her 5th green card. That's training max. And then going to just part-time job, get 10 gold. Okay, Moonlight. Market resets. We lose the Mudland staff. Spellbook, that's fine. No monsters to attack. Sleep phase. Add a card to the board. I might just boost study. I need to draw more cards. Stress and suspicion goes up by 1. Alright, no combat yet, interestingly. Oh, man, I can't stop yawning. My game's that boring. What? I jinxed it 100%. There's our first monster. Okay, so this is Creeping Goo, a friend of mine. If you have a look at the left, it's got 3 different stats: red, blue, and green, which is spirit, mind, and body in that order. Each of those numbers underneath is kind of like a defending stat, and that's the number that you need to roll greater than to deal a wound to the monster. So, for example, if I'm making an attack on red, I need to roll higher than a 2. And the way that I determine how many dice I'm rolling is the number of cards I have of that color. So if I'm making a green attack with Kiana, I'm rolling 5 green dice. And so the way I make an attack is I go, okay, this character, in solo, but like in 3 friends, I'm like, hey, my character, is going to make a green attack into this monster. And then I'll roll dice equals the number of green cards I have. And then if the result is above that, then I'll take a wound. All the monsters have 1 wound, so then it'll die. And then I'll get the victory condition. And Creeping Goo's victory condition is tomorrow morning I draw an extra 2 cards. But if I don't kill it, then it'll give me 3 stress. It's really bad. It's really bad. I totally forgot to give Sophie 10 gold again. Okay, midday. Alright, and then we're going to do schoolwork again. Cool. So, because I can fight them anytime, I can save it right up until the end of the day so that I can have my training action first. Alright, afternoon. So, I'm just part-time job. And Kiana could romance, but I think study's gonna be better. Let's study. Alright, we got a yellow clue this time. It's really shockingly uncolor coordinated. We see a crisis card. Now, crisis cards only activate if they enter the market. Me seeing it while studying doesn't really matter. Think of it like a Daydream. When it's revealed, it has the effects on the bottom. This one is gain 3 stress, gain 2 suspicion. They all gain 3 stress, but all of them have a different second ability. This one gives suspicion. There's one that removes cards in the market. All kinds of scary stuff. They're really scary. Okay, that's afternoon done. Evening. Training time. So, I think I actually just want to go stacks in on blue for Kiana. So let's put our 4th card in here. And we're going to go romancing in here. Okay, Moonlight. So before the market resets, I'm going to make my attack into Creeping Goo. So it's weak to blue. So I'm going to roll 4 dice if I make a blue attack. Yeah, I think that's just as good as rolling 5 green dice looking for a 2. I'll take my 4 dice and roll them. I rolled a 1. So it's equal, it's not a defeat. I can roll red. Sophie attacks with red, which is also 4 dice, but I need to roll a 3, which I did not do. So that means that the Creeping Goo is going to get me, but it's defeat condition, which is not a big deal. I can handle 3 stress. Alright, so market resets. I lose the lucky coin. It's not a huge deal. Okay. Ooh, Ceremonial Dagger's back. It's really, really good. Alright, monsters attack. Creeping Goo goes away. I take 3 stress. We're in 1 wound territory. Alright, then we have the sleep phase. So, quick recap. First thing, add 1 card to my board from my hand. So, let's do a blue one for Kiana. Well, that's probably not the best. Let's bring that over a little bit. Usually, in real life, you tuck the card underneath the board to make it a bit neater. On tables over here, you can't really do that. I'm going to go ahead and put a 1 in socializing. Okay. Then stress and suspicion increases by 1. And then I roll to recover wounds, but neither of my characters have wounds, so there's no point. And then the stress meter gives each player a wound, because it's up to 1. So here's 1. Now I only have 6 wounds per player, and then they die. Once they die, they discard all their market items, but they get to keep their investments here. And then they can be resurrected with extra clue cards. For example, if I summon the blue mastermind and I have the yellow and the red clues, all 3 of each of them, I can then use those to resurrect one of my fallen players. So clues are like pretty important. Got to do that investigating. Okay, that's the end of the day. Come back to morning. Now I get my 10 gold for Sophie. I'm gonna get that ceremonial dagger. It's gonna make a big difference. Okay, midday. So I'm gonna be drawing 4 cards. So I just do all the morning and midday card drawing all at once. Alright, we hit a skeleton. Draw 1 more card, okay. So victory, I add a card from the activity deck to my board. So if I wanted a red card, I can just go and get a red card and add it to my board. But if it defeats me, I get 1 stress, 1 suspicion, and the player with the least green cards takes a wound. So Not ideal. Okay. We're then going to afternoon. So, afternoon. Sophie is going to part-time job and Kiana is going to socializing. And then I'm going to buy the ceremonial dagger. So I'm going to get on my monies. And then get the ceremonial dagger. So the ceremonial dagger counts as a card of any color when counting attack dice. So if I'm making a red attack, it counts as +1 dice. If I'm making a green attack, it counts as +1 dice. It's a pretty good card. Now, because of the socializing is activated, I can trade cards between my players. So I'm going to give the ceremonial dagger to Kiana, my main attacker. Okay. Then we go to the evening. So instead of training, Sophie is going to romance. I got 4 cards in there, so it's going to recover 3 stress. I'm going to go down to 2 stress. That'll save us a bit of hurt. And then Kiana is going to training a green card. Maybe just put it in part-time job as well, I guess. Alright, and then before I go to Moonlight, I'm going to make some attacks into this skeleton. Now, skeleton is weak to green, so I can make a 7 dice strong green attack into the skeleton, and I need to roll a 2. So, I mean, I'm feeling pretty confident about it. And I did it. So I've defeated the skeleton, and I get to search the activity deck. Come on. Search the activity deck for a card. Hoping the top one is it. Blue, that's perfect. Okay. Alright, market resets. Market should reset. 1 card already. Ooh, a clue. I do need that. Alright, another healing salve. Good stuff. So, Burn Chimes is out. And then move this over. Magical Cape. Alright. Monsters attack. There's no monsters so attack. Then we go to the sleep phase. So, first I add a card to the board. Let's go a blue one for Kiana, a green one for Sophie. Okay, then we roll dice to recover wounds. So socializing is 0-1. So if you have no cards in it, you can't recover wounds, and it's the number of dice that you roll. So Sophie has 1 card in socializing, so I can roll 1 dice. So I don't. I rolled nothing. Okay. Then stress and suspicion goes up by 1, and then we each take 1 wound. Okay, and then take 1 wound. 1, 2. Okay. Alright, that's the end of the sleep phase. We're back to the morning again. Sophie gets 10 gold. Draw 3 cards, because I believe schoolwork is at 2. Yeah, so I draw 3 cards now. Skelenite. Okay, then we're going to go, no. The one time I actually want to scroll the camera, not move a component. Midday. Draw 3 more cards. And the Cursed Mummy. So, Skeleton Knight. When you defeat it, you reduce stress to 0. Really, really good. If we do not, each player takes a wound and suspicion goes up by 2. Kind of scary. And he's kind of tough too. So 3s and 4s. Then we have the Cursed Mummy. When the Cursed Mummy is revealed, each player must discard a card or take 1 wound. Well, that's pretty easy. I'm just going to go ahead, throw out some blues. Just put them out of the way. And then if I beat it, 1 player heals all wounds. And if I do not beat it, the player with the least blue cards takes 2 wounds, and then I increase suspicion by 1. So these are definitely some tougher things than the Creeping Goo we saw a second ago. Okay, afternoon. I want to get that healing salve. So I'm in a part-time job, socializing combo, I think. So I would get 10 gold. I actually think I would get 20 gold, wouldn't I? So we'll check. 2 cards, 20 gold. So I'm going to get 20 gold and then I'm going to spend 20 gold. Get that healing salve. Now I have 2. I might as well use them now. What I also get is the clue. And before I get crazy with stock in the market, I'm going to discard both of my healing salves to heal both of Maya's wounds. Okay. Alright, good stuff. Okay, and then evening. Gonna do some training. I might put a red card into both. I'm starting to take some wounds now. Oh, do I study though? What's that? 7, 8 dice. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna study with Kiana instead of training. Because it's 5 cards now. I really want to get that 3rd red clue. We got a green clue. We now have 1 of each clue. That's really helpful, game. Thanks. Alright. Put these back in the deck. Well, done a lot of investigating. It could be anyone at this point. Alright. This is the end of the evening phase. Moonlight. Before I do the moonlight stuff, let's have some battle. So, Skeletonite is weak to blue. I want to roll 4 using 8 dice. So I've got 7 there, I need 1 more dice. Alright, so I have 3 attacks with Kiana. Looking to get a 4. That's more than a 4. So I've defeated the Skeletonite, and I reduce stress to 0. Come on. And out of here. Alright, you can get discarded. Alright, and we've got the Mummy. It's weak to blue. Conveniently, I'm all rolling with blue. Roll my 8 dice looking for greater than 1. Pretty likely. Ka-chow. Mummy's super dead. What do I get? 1 player heals all wounds. Oh, good stuff. Look at this. I'm stress-free. I'm fully healed. So considerate of my enemies. Okay, market resets. I lose the Orb of Futures, which kind of sucks because it was the only good card in there. These 3 cards are all like digging for resources, which I haven't really needed to do yet. Usually those cards, like you buy them and it's like dig through the activity deck looking for a particular card or whatever, and you would do that if you were struggling to find a particular color or something that you needed. Like I was looking for the 5th green card and I had blue, red, red in hand or whatever. Alright. I'll get to reset. Let's attack sleep. So I get to add a card. Let's add a green card to part-time job for you. And I'm going to put a red card in socializing so that a wound may be potentially healed. Alright. Stress and suspicion go up by 1. I take wounds equal to stress, and I can roll to heal wounds. None of those things actually happen. Back to the morning. Sophie gets 10 gold. I then draw 3 cards. And a lot of monsters. So, when you get zombies, all of the zombies comes out. So there's actually 3 zombies here right now. And each of them have victory, search the market deck, and take a clue card of your choice, which right now is really, really, really good for us. And then defeat is a random player takes 1 wound, increase suspicion by 1, which is kind of whatever, not a big deal. And the rat is victory, gain 10 gold, defeat, gain 1 stress, and then one of my players will lose all of their gold. A little annoying. But the 3 zombies means that I can go and finish one of the clues and finish the red clue as well. So that I could potentially summon the mastermind immediately and have clues back enough to be able to resurrect a player. But if they both die at the same time, I can't. There's no one left to then resurrect a friend, which is like not ideal. All right, midday. So I didn't draw my midday cards yet. Let's go. Conveniently, another zombies. Well, I know there's 3 there, but whatever. I'll draw a card to replace it. Because there's no search deck function, I'm kind of ignoring that aspect of it to save time while on stream. Alright, we now go to afternoon. So, there's nothing really to buy. I might go part-time job study. So part-time job gets me 20 gold. Is this a 20 or a 30? That's a 30, so I'll put 10 back. And study, so I mean I don't really need to. If I'm defeating zombies today. Well, I'll fight the zombies and then I'll study if I lose. It's probably a really poor work ethic, but anyway. So I've got 3 attacks and I'm just rolling to get a 3 or higher. So it's super doable. Alright, 1 zombie dead. 2 zombies dead. 3 zombies dead. So I'll get rid of all my zombies. So the victory condition is search the market deck and get a clue of my choice. I can do that 3 times because there's 3 zombies. So what I'm going to do is just put my hand down just here. And I'm just going to pick up the entire market deck. Or a lot of it. It's probably good too. Grab my 1 red. What do we got? 2 blue. Okay. No, that is not. Need this one. And I need this one. Okay, then put them back. Shuffle it back. And pick up my hand again. Now I've got 2 sets of clues, which is really good. So I'm not going to bother studying. I'm going to romance to decrease the stress track back to 0. Alright. I'm going to make my 1 attack, which is 6 dice, into the rat with red for Sophie. And what I'm looking to get is greater than a 1. Let's roll 1 extra dice. Oofed. Close one. Alright, defeat the rat, get 10 gold. Okay, evening. So I probably want to just do training. Get an extra red card in here because that's 1 extra dice rolled for attacks. Get an extra blue card in here because that's 1 extra dice rolled for attacks. Alright, what I'm then going to do is I'm going to discard my 3 red cards and summon Amnath. Coming out. And then I have the 3 blue clues as backup. Really? You won't scroll for me? Alright, I have to select them again. How fun. Okay, so my boy Amnath, here we go, comes and sits out over here. We get Amnath's attack deck. Whoop, I get this. This is one of them. Let's get the other one. Bring it over here. Flip it over and shuffle it. So this is the Mastermind attack deck. Every morning, midday, afternoon, and moonlight, at the very beginning of that phase, a card is going to flip from the attack deck. And now because I summoned using clues, suspicion track goes to 10, and Amnath takes 5 wounds, because that was the remaining suspicion. Let's put them next to it so it's a bit easier to see. So now all I have to do is 5 wounds to Amnath, and I win the game. Okay, Moonlight, market resets. Okay, healing cell, pretty good. Monsters attack, no monsters attack. I can upgrade my stuff. And give you a green card. Stress goes up by 1. Take wounds from stress. Okay, next day. Sophie gets 10 gold, and we reveal a Mastermind attack. Quite a lot of gold there. Okay, first Mastermind attack. Signature attack. Horrors of the Cosmos. Gain 2 stress. Each player must discard a card from their board. So go to 3 stress. Probably discard this red card. And that green card I just played. Probably this green card. Just put them over here for now. Okay, and we draw 3 cards. Okay, and we find a fire demon. When it's revealed, each player must discard a market upgrade or increase suspicion by 1. I don't care, my suspicion is 10 right now. In victory, each card adds a card from the activity deck to their board. Or defeat, increase suspicion by 1. So I can pretty much ignore it because all it's going to do is increase suspicion. Okay, midday. Draw 3 more cards. Alright, afternoon. Well, hang on, I missed my midday attack. The only time he doesn't attack is evening, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Missed my midday attack, which is I forgot to shuffle the deck. I am indomitable. Set the stress track to 5. If it is below 5, stress cannot be lowered today. This is what killed me last time. Okay, going to the afternoon. There is an afternoon mastermind attack. It's the same one again. Fortunately, it doesn't stack. Like, it's not below 5, so it being set to 5 doesn't mean anything. And stress already can't be lowered today. So that's actually really good. Really good for us. Afternoon. Can't romance. No point in studying. I might part-time job, which gets 20 gold. Which gives me a total of 40, 70, 80 gold. And then I'm going to socializing with Kiana and just buy a bunch of stuff. So this healing salve recovers a wound and costs 20 gold. I'm on it. Let's get it. So 20 gold. I'm going to replace it with a new card. Peril's Void is the best card in the game. I will happily spend 30 gold to buy Peril's Void. And then Bone Chimes. Not really that thrilled about any of these other options. Okay, so it's probably enough buying for now. We go to the evening. There's no mastermind attack in the evening, thankfully. I'm gonna training for Kiana because that means I can make a full 10 dice attack. And part-time job? Kinda. Just gonna part-time job for Sophie. Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna make all my attacks into Amnath now. So I've got one from Sophie, which is 7 dice of red, and I need to roll a 7. Sorta unlikely. That is not a 7. There's a 5. That is all of Sophie's attacks. Alright, I'm then going to do Kiana's attack. So I've got 3 and I use 10 dice and it's blue. So I'm trying to get 6s. Okay. That's 1. That is a huge amount. Alright. Alright, attack number 2. Okay, we've got 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright. That's another wound. Let's flip one of these over. 7 wounds. Alright. Blast attack. What do we get? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright. Huge progress. Normally we don't have this many hits in one day. So that's 6, 7, 8. So I only have to do 2 more wounds and I win. So maybe tomorrow I'll be able to actually kill him. Or die. Who knows? Alright, Moonlight phase. First thing, Amnath reveals an attack. Alright, Plagues of Insanity. Skip this time of day. Well, I can't do that. The player with the most gold takes a wound. So what I will miss will be adding a card to the board and rolling to recover wounds. I still add stress and still take wounds from stress. So Willow takes a single wound. Thank you. It's exactly where I wanted to be. Takes a single wound. And stress goes up by 1, and then we both take 2 wounds. Alright, so 1, 2, that's 3. So I can use my healing salve. Probably should. Thanks, right there, right on top of the shop. Oh, I forgot to reset the shop. Speaking of the shop, ooh, that could be good. Okay. Market resets. Taking a lot of damage from the wounds. Alright, and I can pumpkin spice potion tomorrow. Maybe romance to recover some stress. All good. Alright, morning phase. Sophie gets 10 gold. Amnath reveals an attack. No, that's the wrong button. Cull all who tremble. Each player discards a market card and a card from hand, or takes a wound. Now I got no qualms discarding cards in hand, but my market cards are pretty good. So I just can't. Like, I'm happy to lose the dagger, but I can't lose either of these. It's probably game over if I do. So I'm just going to take a wound. So Sophie's only got 2 wounds left, and then she might die. But Kiana's got 3. Foot is over. Also, Kiana's at max rank for schoolwork, so I could actually discard 3 cards and heal a wound. Like once per day I can do that. So I might do that now. Let's get rid of some of these green cards. And I can heal a wound from anybody using that. So I might get rid of it from Sophie. I'm gonna use that pumpkin spice potion now. Go back to 3 stress. And there we go. Okay, and then I get to draw my cards like I actually do schoolwork at some point in this phase. There's no Control Z. That's really annoying. I accidentally drew the whole deck. Okay. Just gonna shuffle and then I'm gonna draw 4 cards because I had 1 card in hand when I did it. Look at that, I got a sneaky rat. Oh, I forgot our fire demon. He was supposed to be discarded from yesterday. Right, midday. Another mastermind attack. Look at this time. My grasp is infinite. Each player receives a wound. So we're both on 4 now. Getting close. I mean, I'm gonna buy stuff, I guess. I'm just gonna socializing. So I got 60 gold. What I'm gonna do is buy 2 toadstools. I mean, 1 at a time, but like, get 2 toadstools and then use it to reset the shop. Hopefully find something more useful. Ceremonial dagger, like, could be good, but probably not. Oh, this is exactly what I want. Alright, so I'm gonna get the Cursed Blade. For a total of $60 it is, which is exactly how much I have. Put my little money cloud over here. So the Cursed Blade gives Kiana an extra attack. Like I buy it and then trade it to her. Which means you have a total of 4 attacks. Rather than moving to the next phase, I might just make some attacks now. So I'm rolling 10 dice and I'm looking for 6s, and I have 4 rolls to get 2 successes. That is not a success. 3 rolls. Oh, there we go, there's 1. Alright, 2 more rolls. So 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's it. That's the 10th wound on Amnath. Amnath is defeated. I actually finally managed to win my game live on stream instead of the embarrassment last time where I just kind of threw it. I didn't buy Peril's Void and I let myself die. This time I had a safety Peril's Void. I could have tanked so much more stuff and not died. Successfully defeated Amnath. The girls have saved the day and everything is awesome. A close one. So that was Winning Love by Daylight. If you didn't entirely hate hanging out and seeing me play this game, find us on Facebook, Winning Love by Daylight Board Game. There's a Facebook page, there's a Facebook group. You can check it out. After this, I'm going to be playing reruns of both this run and the other day's run, so you'll be able to watch it again, see everything about the game. I start off with the introduction, explain how to play, what all the components do, run through a game with 2 different characters. It might be interesting if you want to check it out. Otherwise, you can find this on the YouTube channel later on. And I'm hoping to be streaming some more playthroughs of this game. Probably next time I might find somebody else to come in and join me, so you're not just listening to me umming and ahhing constantly about the terrible decisions that I'm making, which could be more interesting. It could be you if you would like to volunteer, slide in my DMs. Hey, Captain's Cat, can I play board games with you on stream? And we'll sort something out. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed spending this special time with me, and I'll catch you next time.